I'm not an expert on this. It's very nuanced. This is a very, very nuanced conversation. I
It
love
is.
talking about it because it's hard. It's very, very hard to like, how do you figure out how you identify? It's very
It is.
difficult. I
It is.
mean,
And look, to be super candid, so and I have no qualms about this. I know why I did it. I'm comfortable with it.
mhm,
But I married a white woman, and my kids have a white mother, white family,
mm,
So when I talked about, it wasn't until a few years ago, now mind you, I'm about 5 years on my own, going through my therapeutic process and stuff, which really
yeah,
helped all of that. I'm not gonna lie, I had while I was okay with it, I still had some shame around it because I'm like, wait a minute, like, but I have this thing I want to put on for my people, but then I'm over here doing I like this, and now my kids are mixed, and they're not from a woman of color. Like, a lot of that is going on, and to be honest, I didn't really know who to talk to about that stuff. So I just
yeah.
kind of, in my mind, mulling it over, and I should have just started therapy so much
No,
sooner. I'd have been,
no. I mean,
I'd have
that's
been light
fair.
years ahead of where I am right now.
That's fair. But you know what I would say to you though, in all honesty, because this is to me, this is the nuance, right? Because I hear what you're saying. Like, I want to say something to offer a different perspective on that, just real quick.
Yeah,
Because somebody might, somebody I can imagine somebody agree with that. Like, man, I want to put on for my people.
yeah,
Because I hear these discussions, right? Like, I hear like more influential people talk about this. Like, if you really want to do well for the community, you better marry a sister,
yeah,
right? Like that. If you don't do that, you're not for the community. You're not for the
yeah,
culture. Like, I
yeah,
hear those things, so I get where you're going from with that.
yeah,
But this is what I want to say to you though. But your mother was white.
yeah,
So if you saw, like, for example, not trying to put words in your mouth, but if you said like, but I love my mother and my
yeah,
mother's white,
yeah,
so why would I maybe not want my kids to have a white mother? I think you are well within your rights to say that,
yeah,
because that was your lived experience. That would be like somebody telling me again, if some man told me like, well, you're not for the culture if you don't marry a black woman. I'm like, well, my mom was Latina, so am I not allowed to marry a Latina woman if I want to and procreate with them?
yeah,
You might say that's unfair, but that's because your mother was black.
yeah,
I get why you say that, but that's
yeah,
not fair to me,
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm still black, so then my kids are still gonna be partially black. I can still raise them with those values and part of that culture.
culture.
It still encompasses them. You might, the only way that matters if you start trying to count percentages and all that. And I'm not going down that road. Like, are you a fourth? Are you a fifth? Are you an eighth? Like, I'm not going down that road. I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
like we said
yeah,
earlier, you half, you black. You a quarter, you black. If you look like you're black, you're black.
black, yeah, yeah,
And if if it's in your family.
yeah,
So I just want to say that to you because I think, if there's any brothers out there that might feel some type of way about that, like, I care about my community, I want to support them. I would say, me being me, I never want to be exclusionary,
yeah,
right? In these discussions, I never want to come across as, I don't like our white brothers and sisters who do amazing work and they support us and a lot of the struggles that we face, right? I never want to come across that way because I don't believe in that.
yeah,
But what I also want to say is it's okay to also pay attention to those that are the most disenfranchised or the most marginalized. I think
yes,
that's also okay. And that's also part of my lived experience. So that's why I speak to it. But if I was half white or mixed with white, I wouldn't want to be like, well, I'm not allowed to embrace any aspect of being white because, well, this side is super disenfranchised. So I
yeah,
can't acknowledge that. I would say, no. If that's
yeah,
your people too, I think it's
yeah,
absolutely okay to embrace them,
yeah,
because you
yeah,
sort of need people on the inside, right? You need people to challenge their thinking, their beliefs. Who better in some cases than your family? Just like in the black community, it could be the same thing. You need brothers and sisters who are willing to like challenge things that maybe aren't the best for us.
yeah,
But if it's an outsider, as some people might perceive it as, they might be like, yo, I'm not listening to that. Like, you don't know my lived experience. Don't try to talk to me about what it's like. You might
yeah,
have all the statistics in the world. I don't care. But if a brother comes talk to you or a sister comes talk to you, you might be more receptive.
yeah,
So I want us to hopefully to foster a space where we can embrace all aspects of who we are. But in this case, you and I have chosen to focus on a particular area of our lives and our culture that we feel are in need. And I think
yeah,
that that's also okay.
yeah. I'm with you. There's the
Okay.
human race experience, right? And then there's
Yes.
your race or your culture that you're gonna
Yes.
put on for whatever that looks like. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm trying to connect with a diversity is huge for me. So I'm trying to connect with everybody on a certain level, but definitely my affinity is towards black and brown people, especially black and brown males, just because, like you said, disenfranchisement, like that's where it's most. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. Okay.
yeah.